must feel, and a deal is a deal. So stop the crying. It's not like you're dying. You were given an option, and you made your decision. So spare me the hysteria. We're in this together. Under the heavens fall, we can still stand tall, knowing that we're in this together. Come rain or shine, we know that we'd be fine, knowing that we're in this together. United we are strong, divided we'll go wrong, as we head into the future with the hope that we will prosper. May this ever be our mantra. We're in this, we're in this, we're in this, we're in this together. To survive, we need.
In case you don't know us, you're just twisting that dial away and managed to bump into us. This is ZIZ Radio from out of St. Kitts.
Good morning. Happy Monday to all. Welcome to a new edition of Frank and Candid for a brand new week. Hope you had a great weekend, all rested, accomplished what you wanted for the weekend, and ready to go this week. All right, let's begin with the news. The vast majority of COVID-19 vaccines administered have so far gone to wealthy nations. That's according to the World Health Organization. A report came out on Friday. Although more than 700 million vaccine doses have been administered globally, richer countries have received more than 87%, and low-income countries just 0.2%. There remains a shocking imbalance in the global distribution of vaccines, so said World Health Organization chief, speaking during the agency's regular briefing from Geneva. On average, in high-income countries, almost 1 in 4 people have received a vaccine. In low-income countries, it's 1 in more than 500. Repeat that, 1 in more than 500. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, just today, Monday, experienced a huge explosion and the production of copious amounts of ash at the La Soufrière volcano. This is according to the University of the West Indies Seismic Research Center. The team has reported a huge explosion at around 4:15 a.m. We continue to monitor and update accordingly, so says the research center's tweet. The Seismic Research Center added that explosions and accompanying ashfall of similar or larger magnitude are likely to continue over the next few days, possibly extending impact over to neighboring islands. So we're keeping a watch. And here at home, since the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccination program back in February 22nd to be exact, it's less than 2 months ago, St. Kitts and Nevis has done better with its vaccination program than many countries in the developed and developing world, continuing its stellar management of the COVID-19 pandemic. The country has only recorded a meager 44 confirmed cases, all imported, of the coronavirus, with all cases recovered, no serious hospitalization of persons. Although the JNF Hospital in St. Kitts and Alexander Hospital in Nevis have been prepared with several ventilators, pharmaceuticals, and specialist healthcare workers, even before there was one positive case. On top of that, the country's astute management of the virus has not resulted in one death, and we thank God for that. That's a rarity globally. While there are challenges in persuading citizens and residents in taking the jab, just like many countries around the world battling this ferocious misinformation and disinformation campaign, the country is doing well in vaccinating some 10,391 persons in just 47 days, reaching a 31.45% of its target population of 33,000 persons, who would make up the 70% required for herd immunity. So that news tells us that yes, there's the vaccination hesitancy, but we are moving along, trying to get to that 70% so that we can bring things back to somewhere close to, if not normal. And that is the challenge, to fight against not just the COVID, but just misinformation. Rumors, people have all kinds of information they pick up from all kinds of sources. The key here is to try and get your information from credible sources, right? Sources that know. The debate, though, in relation to vaccination continues with respect to this whole vaccination passport issue. There's a huge debate ongoing as we speak, with millions across the globe being vaccinated against this COVID-19 every day. There's this heated debate underway. Do these people need proof of immunization in the form of a vaccine passport? Just like a national passport, a vaccine passport could allow the bearer entrance to a venue, like a concert hall, or access to a foreign country that demands proof of vaccination, in addition to any visa and your national passport. Vaccination cards, as for example those from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the ones we are given here locally, are not quite the same as a vaccine passport. Yet, they are a record, yes, of what vaccine a person got and when. But recently, we're seeing reports about how easily some of those can be forged. We've reported on some forgery in some countries. What exactly are we talking about here? A vaccine passport is just proof that a person has been immunized against COVID-19. It could be in the form of a smartphone app or a written certificate for those without smartphones. Some health experts argue that such proof of vaccination can be the ticket back to normalcy. It could reward people for getting vaccinated by allowing them into certain venues, as in sporting events, concerts, right? It can also offer peace of mind that the person sitting next to you at the event has been immunized. Therefore, it can help to make crowded places safer. Some U.S. states, New York for example, have already begun to issue a digital vaccine passport verifying vaccine status. The U.S. federal government, however, will not issue such, and they're saying they have no plan to require such. Some businesses, even the cruise lines, are demanding them, but opposition is building over personal freedom and privacy and other concerns. Some even go on to say that this is an overreach by the authorities who do so. In some jurisdictions, there is an outright ban on vaccine passport and prohibits any government entity from issuing them and any business from requiring them of their customers. Florida, case in point. Like it or not, though, people who want to travel abroad may soon be required to have a vaccine passport to enter certain countries, or it may help them avoid quarantine once they arrive. Britain and the European Union are considering vaccine passports, and that's according to an article in the New England Journal of Medicine. Australia, Denmark, Sweden have committed to the implementation of such. Although travel eligibility has been the primary focus to date, there are some other uses of the passport to regulate access to social and recreational gathering, to workplaces, to schools. These all appear to be eminent in some places. Israel, for example. Israel has what they call a green pass. And for instance, it permit entry to otherwise restricted sites such as hotels, gyms, restaurants, theaters, and music venues. And of course, I mentioned New York has what they call the Excelsior Pass, which permits attendance to theaters, arenas, event venues, and large weddings, etc. Norwegian Cruise Line hopes that requiring all crew and guests to be vaccinated will be its ticket back to sailing from U.S. ports this summer. The company's CEO believes it would eliminate the risk of outbreaks at sea. So, it tells you here that as the debate continues, there are some realities that we will have to face. We here in St. Kitts are promoting the idea that, one, the vaccine makes sense, it is good, low risk. The idea of getting vaccinated presents less of a risk than not getting vaccinated. We have been under this pretty much a lockdown for over a year, and the only way that would ease up the social distancing, the mask, the quarantine, those will only ease up once we get to around 70% of the population being vaccinated. So, for yourself, for your family, for your friends, it seems to me a good idea to get vaccinated. And whenever you proceed to get vaccinated, I also believe it's a good idea to take along a friend. Now, it is still up to each individual to make that decision. It's a personal choice. I also do not believe that anyone should be forced to do so. I would much rather try to persuade you in other ways by giving you information, debunking the misinformation, and saying to you that if that's not enough, seek advice from a medical professional. Seek advice from your own doctor, and ask all the questions that you may have with regards to this vaccine, because ultimately it is you who have to make a decision to be vaccinated or not to be. We have been vaccinated in this country for many years. Many of you were vaccinated as children, and so therefore vaccinating is nothing new. But as an adult, you have a choice. Just a little fact to keep in mind, talking about vaccination passports and so on. An immunization card has been required to enter certain countries since 1969. immunization cards have been required to enter some or most universities. And so a lot of things we do over the years, we have been required to have an immunization card to show that you're being immunized against certain things. So it's really not much different here when we start talking about people requiring to show that they have been immunized against this particular virus. Question is, which do you value more? The freedom of people to go about and do whatever they want, or are we to show some concern about providing the best health that we can for our community? It is more for me about protecting the masses than necessarily an individual. But I am not a person that would advocate for taking away the rights of an individual to make a decision when it comes to vaccination. So, there you have it. If we want to get back to normal, as a matter of fact, the authorities are talking, they've set a target of a total reopening of this country for October. The hope is that by then we would have reached that magic 70% number. It is not that after that we won't see coronavirus coming into the country, but it is believed that with 70% of the country protected, it will not be as disastrous. And so if you are vaccinated, it doesn't necessarily mean that the virus won't be around. The virus will be around, but you will be protected from serious illness when it comes to that virus. Just like it is a fact that many of the virus that we have been vaccinated against as kids may be still around. But because you are vaccinated against it, you're not hearing people suffering serious illness as a result of those. So the idea is the same. It will still be around. It would still more likely come into St. Kitts once we reopen, but we will be protected against it, against serious illness from the virus. That is what it's about. All right, so we will take a quick break. When we come back, 465-2555 and 718-577-2916.
In case you don't know us, you're just twisting that dial away and managed to bump into us. This is ZIZ Radio from out of St. Kitts.
There's never a bad time to feel good. At Courts, we've got all you need to make your home more comfortable and enjoyable, all at the best prices. Save on electronics and smart devices. Great deals on furniture and appliances. Get it now with Ready Finance and we'll pay your first and last installments. So it's all about feel-good days. Brought to you by Courts, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
This is my land, my island, our home. The climate has changed, it's becoming strange. We have to come together to keep her forever resilient and strong. We need slope stabilization, forest rehabilitation. Come together as a nation for drought and flood mitigation. Development with policies and plans. Let's change our ways, protect our lands. Get involved, every child, woman and man. Island resilience has got the plan. This is my land, my island, our home. It's time to come together to keep her forever resilient and strong.
Island Resilience, promoting a climate of change. The Climate Change Adaptation and Sustainable Land Management Initiative of the OECS Commission, funded by the European Union.
Welcome back to Frank and Candid. I'm Tony Ness, and we are this morning open for discussion on the whole vaccination and herd immunity and reopening of a country and what is required. As I said just before the break, the authorities have set a target and would like to see the country totally reopened by October. And they're hoping by then we could reach that number that will give us the herd immunity. Let's go to the phone. Say good morning. Welcome to Frank and Candid.
Greetings in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Mustaigavi and Queen Nzinga. Blessed be my beloved African brother. How are you, the family?
We're doing good, doing well.
All right. Brother, first let me say happy birthday to the great Dr. Simmons, our first Prime Minister and living national hero. Happy birthday, my beloved brother. You're a legend, beloved. Now, beloved, yesterday was a good, I listened most of part of the National Convention. And brother, let me tell you, Dr. Simmons was on fire, beloved. Very, very dynamic speech, beloved. But that's for another time. I will, elaborate on that. Let me get to the matter of fact. But like I said, I agree with you when you say it's up to the individual whether he or she want to take it, and no one should be forced. You want to take it, you take it. You don't want to, that's up on you. But brother, I'm saying, I know Cuba gonna roll out. I think Argentina done order some. I think by May 1st. But I think it will be wise for this administration when Cuba starts sending their thing, vaccine, whatever, you can order it. I think this administration in St. Kitts Nevis should order at least maybe about 20,000 in the first instance for those who don't trust this vaccine coming out Asia, Europe, and North America. That will be wise. I sure our brothers and sisters in the federations will trust those coming out of Cuba. So, who don't want to take those, like I just mentioned, out of Europe, Asia, and North America? I know they will trust the one coming out of Cuba, brother, because I personally will take, it can come, beloved, to the Federation to take the Cuban vaccine. I don't know how it is, if it's a one shot, I'm going to take 3 weeks, whatever, but I will come. I just hope then that you can't travel unless you get the vaccine. Because, but for now, I am not taking none of them coming out of North America, Europe, or Asia. That's me, beloved. What if they don't have the ban and the administration of St. Kitts Nevis have 1 or 2 Cuban vaccine? Brother, I will come there and take my vaccine. Brother, I'm coming out of Cuba. So that's a thing for the administration. And Brother Harris, I hope you're listening, and the medical professionals, Dr. Wilkinson, Dr. Laws, and the whole, team. I love it. Think about that, man. Please order about 10,000 and see what happens. But
before you go, can you hear me?
Brother, you saying something?
Yeah, before you go, it looks to me.
You're kind of muffling, brother.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. If you're not hearing me, then
I'm hearing you a little. At least go ahead, talk. Go ahead. I'm hearing you a little, but not too clear.
Based on what you have been,
you sound better now.
Based on what you've been saying, it seems to me that you are more than likely not going to get out of the United States, because if these airlines, for example, decides that you must be vaccinated to fly with them, it is highly unlikely that the United States will take any vaccine from Cuba. So you may have to find a way to import that vaccine yourself.
But
Because you're not going to get out.
Go ahead.
You're not going to get out of America to take it, because you can't travel without having it. And so it looked to me like you're stuck and you can't get the Cuban vaccine in the United States. So I don't know what you're going to do.
But I will have to make that choice, because I want to come to my beloved country. And, but sometimes, that's why I say, if, that's the only way, I will just think about it. But, I am not taking none of the vaccine coming out of here in North America, Asia, and Europe. Not no time soon, beloved. I don't know if I will take it, but I leave the window open.
Okay.
But I want to travel. I want to come to the land of my birth. And I hope, brother, they don't do that by the time. So, brother, it will up to me, beloved. But,
right.
Thanks again, beloved, brother. Keep up the great works, man.
Okay.
Pan-Africanism and peace. Well, now, beloved.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, as I said, I mean, we could have a choice, or we could want a choice of, say, a vaccine that we trust, say, one of those coming out of Cuba. But if you're in the United States and that's the decision you're making, and you want to travel, when they decide that you can't travel without it, or you can't go on an airline without it, then you're in a bind, as we would say. So, if your intention is to come to the Caribbean, or come to some place, or travel to some place where the Cuban vaccine is, but you can't travel because you're not vaccinated, then you got a problem, because in order to travel you have to be vaccinated. So if you go and get vaccinated, then you're already vaccinated. So then no need now to travel to get the Cuban vaccine, which you so much more trust. Speaking of that, Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has said that the country has signed a deal to produce 2 million doses per month of a Cuban coronavirus vaccine, adding that his government also managed to secure funds to fully pay for COVID jabs via COVAX, which is the global sharing mechanism. Quote here, "We have signed an agreement to produce in our laboratories 2 million vaccines a month of the Abdala vaccine." That is one of, I think it's 4 vaccines that Cuba is working on right now. The Abdala is one of those. So 2 million vaccines a month of the Abdala vaccine for August, September, approximately. Maduro also said on Sunday on television, in a television address, referring to the development, the vaccines developing in Cuba, four vaccines. The South American country will also take part in phase 3 trials for the same Abdala vaccine produced by its friend Cuba. Cuba, like I said, has developed or developing 4 jabs that are in various stages at the moment of clinical trials. The island nation has already started vaccinating its own healthcare workers with 2 of its vaccines still in the 3rd phase of its clinical trials. So they vaccinated those people as part of that trial. That was the Sobrana 2. The Abdala is being given to 124,000 healthcare workers, while 48,000 volunteers are taking part in a parallel phase 3 clinical study. Should it be approved, Abdala would be the first COVID-19 vaccine entirely developed and produced in Latin America. So far, Venezuela has rolled out, has been sluggish, but that is the situation. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I was just now here listening to Nabu about the vaccine possible that's coming out of Cuba. Now, let's say we get say 10,000 or 20,000 vaccine, and we use all those vaccines for the ones who are very skeptical about the other vaccine that coming out of Asia, North America, and out of wherever the other one is now. What if Americans say all those who taken the vaccine from Cuba not eligible to come to the U.S.?
That is possible too, you know. So, yeah, interesting.
Very interesting. I'll listen for the next comment. Someone
Okay,
call it.
all right. Back to the phones. Good morning, welcome.
Yes, hello?
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Nice. I haven't done it myself in terms of research and stuff in the about the different vaccines and stuff, but the vaccines that have been made, right? Don't they have the same ingredients, the same makeup to form them? Yeah.
I'm not sure I could answer that question, but I would be thinking similarly. But
okay, even if they have, let's say 5 different ingredients might have been put together to make the vaccine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would want to believe they have at least 2 or 3 of the same thing in all of them.
It's reasonable.
Because first they have to use water is going to be the main thing, right? So the water is one. Let's move the water away. But I believe you're going to have something other, maybe even 2 more of the ingredients in the same vaccine, in all of the vaccines. So my thing is like they're saying, oh, we're not going to use the AstraZeneca or the one from the States, but we're going to wait for the Cuban one. When you are they checking the ingredients in each vaccine to say, well, okay, the Cubans are using different ingredients to the others, so because of that we're going to take the Cuban one, or we're not going to use the Cuban one because the AstraZeneca ingredients is different, and these are the reasons why they're taking and not taking.
Well, I think the people who are interested in the Cuban vaccine they're talking about trust, and they just don't trust anybody else. They trust Cuba, and so because they trust Cuba, they're not asking that question about ingredients when it comes to Cuba. They're asking that about others. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
they don't really care about Cuba. They trust them.
But then the company, the AstraZeneca, AstraZeneca vaccine company, right? Some of the medication that they use in the hospitals, right here, and some of us probably when we went to hospital or doctor, we've been getting the medication from them. They've been using those medication panels.
That is true. That is true.
And if I'm not correct, I believe that company is probably one of the oldest company or the longest company in terms of making these medications.
Yes, you would be on the right track as well with that. Yes.
Right. So we've been using things from them all the time.
All the time.
All the time. So how come now and we trust them? We didn't even question the doctors or the hospital as to who you get these things from to put in the body.
Mm-hmm.
But now we are questioning it. We are questioning these things because the only company we would have probably been the more popular company in terms of medication and stuff like that would have been Johnson & Johnson.
Right.
We never really used to hear about these others. All they were there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gotcha.
But not so. I don't understand why the big thing. But everybody got a choice. So,
that's right. That's right.
All right.
Comes down to that. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Now, my beloved brother, again, to the brother who call and, accent. But if I'm not mistaken, all these vaccines, they don't have to get some approval thing from the World Health Organization.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the thing right there. And the brother who just came off there a minute ago. But we didn't know all of these things years ago, say 20, 25, 30 years ago. We didn't know all of these things. People are more knowledgeable. Knowledge are there at the click of a mouse. You could go you got a lot of crap and disinformation and lies and everything, but you got to just go and do your research. Like once ago, beloved, decades ago. Now people are more knowledgeable and more where you can research things for yourself and ask questions. You got more holistic doctors, beloved. So that's the thing right there. You know, that was time, and don't forget to. Remember, we was under colonialism, so everything was coming out of Europe, England primarily. So, brother, there's no comparison. Like I said, who want to take things I trust, and look what Cuba have done to our people and the African continent. Great, great, great medical service in all fields of medicine. You cannot say you're in the trust in Cuba and the Cuban medical thing. No, it thing have been there when it comes to eye care, everything, beloved, in Cuba. Cuba have been great to our people when it comes to medicine, man, and health care. So that's my thing. I will trust anything when it comes to medicine coming out of Cuba, beloved. But I'll continue to listen. Pan-African is my person, my beloved.
Okay. Thank you. Back to the phones. Good morning.
Yeah, Mr. Nice. Good morning.
Good morning.
You called before Nabo. Let me shrink my Nabo saying. Since this pandemic, you got all kind of, I call it, chemists who make vaccine. So people have a right to be concerned. That's all I got to say.
Okay. All right. I shared some information some time ago, and let me go back since the caller, a couple callers back had asked about AstraZeneca and talking about its history. AstraZeneca itself is a global science-led biopharmaceutical company, and they focus on discovery, development, and commercialization of prescription medicines, primarily for the treatment of diseases, all right? Oncology, cardiovascular, renal and metabolism and respiratory, and immunology. All right, the company is based in the UK, operates in over 100 countries, and its innovative medicines are used by millions of patients worldwide. All right, so AstraZeneca has been around a long, long time, and as far back, well, before we were born, before I was born, we've been getting medicine out of India, and so nothing new there as far as using an Indian factory to produce these things. We just done the research for the COVID-19 vaccine that AstraZeneca is producing was done by Oxford University. So once the vaccine is developed and tested for safety and efficacy by Oxford and AstraZeneca, of course, as somebody mentioned, it has to get approval from appropriate agencies and then go to manufacturing. More likely companies that have something to be manufactured are looking for a cost-effective way to manufacture large quantities in a quick time and distribute. So India fits that bag. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
No, I totally agree with what Nabu was saying, right? I wasn't disputing what he's saying. But all that I'm saying, when it comes to this stuff, Cuba and America, man, they are all as dirt, and it all comes down to politics. We all know that when it comes to Cuba, in science, everybody knows Cuba has the best education system in the entire world. There's no dispute about that. But all I was saying, is the politics that could possibly come out of the vaccine. That's all I was saying.
Very, very possible.
Blessed my brother now.
Yeah.
We're on the right track. Thank you.
Yeah, very, very possible. And the point that was being made is that even if we were vaccinated with the Cuban vaccine, which we trust. I have no problem with Cuba. I mean, they've made some strides. They are trustworthy when it comes to medicine. I mean, we send our people to Cuba. They do some amazing things in Cuba when it comes to healthcare and medicine. But it is possible because of the politics that the United States could say, well, that vaccine is not approved by us, so if you give me proof that you're vaccinated with the Cuban vaccine, we won't accept you. It is possible, knowing the way they feel about Cuba. Back to the phones. Good morning. Good morning, caller. You're live. Okay. Hello?
Do you hear me?
Oh, yes. Go ahead. Yes. No.
Yes. Now, yes. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Now, I want to say something about the Cuban vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We agree Cuba have so-called the best doctors around the region.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I agree that Cuba is very nice to St. Kitts and Son. But there is no vaccination better than none. Because all of them got to go through the same approval before they could sub it in human beings.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me?
Right.
So I don't understand what them anti-people against the vaccination walking banging off the mouth for. You understand me? We got the people here, we're fighting an epidemic here. That to see people not just dying, wishing God help us that nobody die here yet. But people is out of work. And the hotels and them are not opening and so on, and the ships them are not coming unless the people are vaccinated. So them anti-vaccination people who go around and telling people don't take the vaccination and then come back and tell them, who want to take it, take it. Why they don't go buy a toothbrush and brush them out? Now, next part now. You went to the convention yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I want to know something. Well, it's three parties together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I heard somebody was saying that Pam had the most seats in the government. Right?
Okay.
Now, what I want to know is the People's Labour Party, right, have the right to run people in every constituency. They're going to run like how they run. I don't know if you can make a phone call and answer me when I go on back off the line or what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you understand what I meant?
I understand.
You understand me?
Yes.
If you're going to run 5 candidates or 6 candidates and I'm only running 2 or 3, how am I going to get sufficient as you? I'd like to run all the seats and them. And who come out the winner from the party and continue it as unity. But you can't tell me, well, I going to run 2 people and you're going to run 4, but you want the same equal feel. No, it's not right. It's not right. So if you could find out that for me and let me know when I have the ear.
Okay.
I'm still listening.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. We got a caller here. Let's go back to the phone. Good morning. Welcome. Good morning, caller. You're live. Caller, you're live. Okay. We're not hearing that caller. All right. Call us back. 465-2555. 718-577-2916. We got a call?
Yes, I'm waiting.
Good morning. Yes.
I was saying you can't really wait waiting for the people when they say they don't want to take the vaccine because they don't even know one ingredient that's put in that vaccine. This is where it comes from. You got to know what you're putting in your body before you just go and just you know what I mean, make yourself available,
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's go back. Okay, no, we lost that. Okay. All right, well, like I say, I mean, people have a personal choice. I am not one to take away that. What I can say is that, as Rockefeller pointed out, nothing is going to happen for us until we get to the 70% and achieve herd immunity. So if we don't get there, we'll be where we are. If you're comfortable with that, that's fine. But it is your personal choice. I'm never going to be the one to try and make somebody do something against their will. The authorities can do what they have to do. There can be certain requirements if you take it or don't take it. But I think for me, it is good for the country if we are vaccinated. Just like we are vaccinated against multiple other things in the past. So that, the world is vaccinated against multiple other things in the past. This is just another one of those things that we have to be vaccinated against so that we can be safe, go on living lives, and even though the virus is around us, we are not affected by it in the same way once we are vaccinated. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Niles. How are you?
I am well. How are you doing?
I am fine, thanks be to God. Now, Mr. Niles, you just made a point there, which is my point, about this forcing people. That's my issue with this whole vaccine thing. This demand of wanting to force people to take a vaccine. I think people should weigh their balance, figure out what they want, at least take their time, do their research, and decide whether or not they want to take this vaccine. But to demand it and force it on people. Because when you look at it, Mr. Myers, these government force you to go take the vaccine. Anything happens to you, you can't go after government because government protect themselves. The vaccine company, they protect themselves. So you're left to bear your suffering or your mourning by yourself because everybody have protected themselves. When they force you to do it and anything happens to you, you're on your own. Let people decide for themselves. That's my whole take on this vaccine thing. You have a God bless day.
Okay. Back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome.
Mr. Nayas, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, doing well. How are you doing?
This vaccine thing.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for a Chinese lab, we'd not be in this situation today. So we should ask the Chinese to tell us, give us all the information that we want about vaccines. But anyhow, there's a lot of talk, just this morning alone, and not only this morning, but other times too, about people want to know what's in the vaccine. Mm-hmm. We take things like aspirin on a day-to-day basis. Exactly what's in an aspirin? Or any of the medications that doctors tell us to go up to Value Mart or to City Drugstore or wherever, Farm Care, and take. And we take it willingly because we want to get better. The thing about it, this vaccine thing, though, is something of a national basis. It is best for us to take it to make the country better, the world better, because this virus can eliminate all of us in this world if we don't fight back. Vaccine is the way to fight back. Mm-hmm. Yes, they become sometimes it may become mandatory if the situation does not improve, because if the economies of the world and small economies like ours will suffer first, when our economies start to collapse, the governments and the people have to make some decisions, because you can't let 40 somebody or 50 somebody thousand people just starve. We can't jump on a boat and just go to another man's country and live there because we have ignored what we could do to make our country safe again from a virus. Places like Grenada, you didn't mention that, you did say about airlines requiring persons to have be vaccinated, a vaccinator certificate to show you can jump on the aircraft. And that's to stop contamination aboard aircraft. But I understand that some place like Grenada, for example, they say that it's mandatory now for persons working in tourism industry down there to be vaccinated.
Correct. Yes.
Because they are exposed. And for the good of the people of Grenada, it is good to have them protected so that the rest of Grenada can be protected. Sometime last week or week before, St. Vincent has said all civil servants should be vaccinated, and they were going to be working, making that mandatory. And I figure in the short, not too distant future, other countries, especially tourism-related workers, because they are most exposed. I could see that being the first area of mandatory requirement for governments in the Caribbean, from Trinidad, a whole of CARICOM, because we rely heavily on tourism. 60% of our economy comes from tourism. If that goes away as it has gone away for the last year and a bit, we are in deep, deep doo-doo. And if there's no money coming in the country, what are we going to do? Are we going to start eating one another? Yes, we have plants in the ground and that kind of thing, but is it enough? All the food in the Caribbean grown, is it enough to feed all of us? We have to import food. And if we don't have money to do that, here comes starvation. It is easier to become vaccinated and protect yourself, your family, your country, than to play ignorant and don't be vaccinated. The country, the world relies on vaccination. We don't like it, but it is a fact. Because this virus does not have to be vaccinated, and it spreads. It is more productive than a man and a woman, because it takes 9 months for a man and a woman to produce a child. It takes just one sneeze for the vaccination to contaminate another person. It is dangerous. This could terminate mankind on this earth. We have to do it for the good of mankind, for the good of St. Kitts Nevis, for the good of our family, for the good of ourselves. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We're going back to the phones. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Good morning. You're live.
That's a long wait, boy. I don't believe that people who don't want to take the vaccine should advocate for other people to take it. I don't believe so at all. And I would have liked where we had some laws like China and them for this period that you have to and you must take it. Don't care what you do. You want some kind of military laws at this time, martial laws. If you do or you die in a situation like this. And I heard a commentator a little earlier twice talking about Cuban vaccine. Nobody know Cuba about producing vaccine. Europeans are the one who got in that knowledge. And so I just yesterday, a couple of us were reflecting on when we were boys. You don't see children around with a lot of sores on the skin because of the healthcare development, and a lot of it because vaccines. So everybody look at because you got a cell phone and you got a computer. Everybody come scientists. They want to know the composition of the vaccine. I don't know. Even if you tell them they don't know, because they don't understand some of the terminologies. Me ain't know. I may want to know, because I have taken vaccines over a long period of time, and they have worked well, not just for me, but for many others. Look when children going into the high school and so, and they had to vaccinate them. Yeah, and it will protect them from a lot of diseases because all sort of people got mixed up inside there. Same thing as a university abroad. So me know this big thing where they're now with. Some of the people who are talking, I think they should just talking to talk it. But I want laws come that everybody must take it. I don't take mine since before the last month. So that ain't a problem to me. I accustomed to take vaccine. I had vaccines for flu. When the flu season and all of that. And it's good it has done for me. But anyway, another time short, but I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the People's Action Movement and their successful convention. Congratulate Mr. Sean Richards to continue to be the leader. And I also want to wish Dr. the Honorable Dr. Kennedy Simmons, only living hero, a happy birthday. And I realized he was on fire. I don't go in big crowd, so I didn't go, but I listen on the radio.
Okay.
And I'm not just a makeup palm. We got a lot of makeup palm around here, playing a lot of tricks. And one last thing I want to say, I heard a caller call you a while ago, and saying something about everybody should be able to run candidates all around. It may be true, but it make no sense because a strong area where I support Pam, is Pam they don't vote for overwhelmingly. So there has to be an agreement to where you're going to put up candidates. And last thing, I remember from a little boy, I used to listen to world news, and well, after the Second World War, you had a man named Konrad Adenauer. That was a German chancellor. And he was there for a long, long time. And all the governments they had from the period come down, the coalition. And they must get an agreement on who were going to put candidates. So I listened to a lot of interesting commentary there on BBC there, like Mrs. Merkel going to come out at September. So you got to do that. You make no sense unity. I mean, PLP put candidates in Pam strongholds. The only thing they could do with that is to get some votes out of Labour. But Pam people ain't going to change.
All right.
And then Labour people ain't going to change. They ain't happen easily.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I said last this thing, yeah, because people change where we win, you know. Is the added voters list we had. And we know we're strong all the time. Anyway, have a good day.
All right. The caller behind you waiting long. Final call. Go ahead.
Yeah, how are you, man?
Fine.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, man, I just want to comment briefly on the vaccine. At first, myself, you know, really and truly, you know, I was not really a proponent of the vaccine, but it seems like we are going into some uncharted waters where the nation of St. Kitts and Nevis, they might need to take that vaccine in order for their survival. You know, it makes no sense that, you know, you're going to starve because you have a bad or poor economy because of this virus. At some point along the line, this virus, this vaccine is going to probably become mandatory. So people there, they got to get prepared for that. So, you know, it's to save mankind. You know, the science has proven that the vaccines are safe. And, you know, all this discussion back and forth is just creating more and more debate, and it's getting people more and more confused. You know, we took vaccines when we were kids growing up. You know, a lot of people, you know, we took so much vaccines, we didn't even know the contents of the vaccines. You know, right now, all of those talk is just to create debate and to prolong the situation. But for your own survival, it's going to be better to take the vaccine, man. You know, I'm just going to put it out there. Myself, I'm on the way right now to the clinic to take my second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Praise the Lord, I ain't had no side effects yet. But I had to take that vaccine to protect my father who's here with me. He's 93. You know, God bless him, you know. And I had to make a personal decision to do that.
All right.
But the information is already out there. You know, all the information that needs to be out there about the vaccine is already out there. You know, people are just screaming for more and more, but it's already out there. They got these cell phones in their hand.
Okay, got you, caller. Gotta run.
And Sebastian.
Gotta run, caller. We're up against the clock here. Couldn't say it any better. You're repeating it though. We will be back tomorrow, if it is to be. My name is Tony Lance, and we will talk some more then, right here on Frank and Candid.